What's up, YouTubers? Matador here, taking a look at level 60 talents for Shadow Priests. Classic WoW comes out in summer 2019, which is based off the original vanilla WoW released in 2004. In this video, we're going to try to build a 40-man raid environment talent spec for Shadow. The Shadow talent tree is going to start you off with a choice of either putting 5 points in a chance to stun targets or 5 points in a chance to receive mana back when a target dies. Neither of these are super convenient in a raid setting because neither of them are ever going to proc most likely. However, I chose Spirit Tap for the first 5 because there's an off chance that you might get a killing blow on an ad that would trigger this to give you mana back. You're going to put 5 points automatically into Shadow Focus, which reduces the target's chance to resist Shadow by 10%. Mobs and players in Vanilla and Classic WoW have a chance to resist certain spells, of which there are several schools. So you want to make sure that they're not going to resist your spells, because otherwise you have to cast them again. I'm going to say put 2 points in Shadow Word Pain. Bosses have a 16 debuff limit in Classic and Vanilla WoW. You're going to be arguing with your raid over whether or not they're going to allow you to even use Shadow Word Pain on the boss. But regardless, it's a nice ability to have up for soloing content, or maybe if you're doing 10-mans or maybe even 20-man raids, there's a reason to have it rolling. You're going to put 3 points in Improved Mind Blast. The reason you don't put the full amount in there is because of this talent right here, Mind Flay, which is a 3-second channeled cast, which costs 45 mana. That 45 mana is spent right at the beginning of the cast, which is why you don't want to clip yourself. You want to make sure that you expend the full cast so you get the full amount of damage, so that you are conserving mana. And if you cast Mind Flay twice in a row, that's 6 seconds, and so Improved Mind Blast should be up by that point in time with 2 or 3 talents. Next, the entire reason that you are even being brought to the raid is for Shadow Weaving. This increases the boss's vulnerability to shadow damage by 15%. This is solely to increase the Shadow Bolt spam damage from your warlocks in your raid. So you want to stack warlocks with a Shadow Priest. Next, you're going to put 3 points in the increased range for shadow damage so you can stand with the cool kids at ranged. You're going to put 1 point in Vampiric Embrace solely to get down to shadow form, but this is a situational use that again would debuff the boss. You'll put 5 points in Darkness to increase your shadow spell damage by 10%, so you're doing more damage. And you'll put 1 point in Shadow Form, which is the form that you will stay in permanently while you're in the raid environment, because it increases your shadow damage by 15%. Then we'll move over to the Discipline tree, and we'll put 5 points in Unbreakable Will to start with, mostly because there's a 15% chance to resist fear, and there are some bosses that fear in raids. Next, you'll put 2 points in Improved Power Word Fortitude, because this is the buff that you bring to the raid, and you want to make sure that you are giving the max buff to everyone that gets your fort. The next 3 points don't particularly matter. I am going to suggest that you put it in Improved Power Word Shield, because this is a barrier to protect yourself from damage, and it's also fun to mess around with in PvP because no one can kill you. 1 point goes into Inner Focus. This is a 3-minute cooldown ability that gives you a free mana cost spell that has an increased chance to crit by 25%. We'll also put 3 points in Meditation, which allows 15% of your mana regen to continue, because Vanilla and Classic was all about mana starvation, and you want to make sure that you're regulating how much mana you use. Now at this point, you're left over with 6 points, with which you have to decide what to do. It's entirely up to you. My recommendation is to roll back over to the Shadow tree, put 3 points into Shadow Affinity, which reduces threat by 25%, because threat was a big issue in Vanilla and Classic WoW. The other 3 points, again because I like to mess around in PvP with Shadow Form spec, because it's a pretty viable spec in PvP, is to put 2 points in Psychic Scream Reduction, and also grab yourself Silence to silence those healers. And this is a viable shadow spec for rating. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated this video, leave a like, subscribe, or comment down below so I know to make more of these types of videos for Classic WoW. Otherwise, check out Wowhead and other guides for best in slot items, rotations, and alternative specs.